Chioma thought her life was finally complete. After years of waiting, God had blessed her and her husband Elvis with beautiful twins, a boy and a girl. The house was filled with laughter, joy, and the sweet cries of newborns. But she never knew that the same person she trusted the most was planning to destroy everything she held dear. Chioma sent Amanda, her maid, to the market to buy groceries. She stayed behind with her twins while Mama, her mother, was busy in the kitchen. Everything was normal until Chioma's phone rang upstairs. She gently placed one of the babies on the couch and went to pick it up. What she didn't know was that Amanda had not left for the market. She quietly returned, looked around to make sure no one was watching, and slowly picked up the baby boy. Without hesitation, she disappeared through the back, climbed over the wall, and vanished. Moments later, Chioma came back, but her son was gone. She froze. Her voice trembled as she screamed for Mama. The older woman rushed in from the kitchen, shocked to find Chioma crying and searching everywhere. Mama swore she had been cooking and hadn't touched the baby. Panic filled the house. They searched every corner, called the gateman, checked every room, but the baby was nowhere to be found. Then came the terrible truth. Amanda had climbed over the wall with the baby in her arms. Somewhere far away, Amanda handed the crying child to a woman named Abigail, who wept bitterly as she took the baby. Amanda told her to be strong, that their work was not yet done, and then she returned home. She climbed back over the wall, dusted herself off, and went to the gate. Smiling, she told the gateman to open the gate because she was going to the market, pretending she had just been leaving. Back at home, Chioma was inconsolable. She didn't know how to tell her husband that their son was missing. When Elvis came back and heard the news, his anger shook the entire house. He accused Chioma of carelessness. "We waited for years for these children," he shouted, "and now one is gone because of you?" The gateman swore that no one had left the compound carrying a baby, but Elvis refused to believe him. He gave him 24 hours to produce the missing child or face his wrath. Chioma cried through the night, her heart heavy with guilt and pain. But instead of comforting her, Elvis accused her of witchcraft, saying she must have used the child for rituals. He called her names and beat her while Mama tried to protect her. In anger, Elvis warned them both that if the baby was not found, they would regret ever stepping into his house. Amanda continued to act innocent. She cried with Chioma, helped her search, and even told her to have faith that the baby would be found. The police were eventually called to investigate. They questioned everyone. Amanda calmly said she was at the market when everything happened, and even Chioma unknowingly confirmed her story. The gateman was arrested, tortured, and kept insisting he had seen no one leave with a baby. Days later, with no sign of their son, Elvis broke down. He apologized to Chioma for the way he treated her, but the damage was already done. Chioma's heart was shattered. Her husband had beaten her, her child was gone, and her spirit was broken. Mama eventually went back to the village, warning them to live in peace and accept their fate. Elvis promised to take care of Chioma and their daughter, but Amanda's mission was far from over. Weeks passed. Chioma became extra protective of her daughter, never letting her out of her sight. But Amanda was patient. She waited for the right moment. One afternoon, Chioma placed her baby on the bed and went to the kitchen. Amanda quietly entered, picked up the baby, and headed outside. When Chioma returned and found her daughter missing, she screamed her name until Amanda appeared, pretending to comfort her. She claimed the baby had been crying, and she only took her outside for fresh air. Chioma thanked her, but warned her never to do that again, without permission. Amanda only smiled. She knew her time would come again. One day, as Elvis prepared to go to work, Chioma asked him to drop Amanda at the market, and he agreed. But Amanda came back earlier than expected. Instead of using the gate, she climbed the wall again, sneaked into the compound, and went straight upstairs. Chioma had just placed her baby on the bed and gone into the bathroom. Amanda picked the baby up and disappeared, just like the first time. When Chioma came out and saw the empty bed, she screamed. Her legs gave way as she searched the whole house, calling for help. Elvis arrived home just in time to find her crying uncontrollably. He was furious. "How can this happen again?" he shouted. "How can another baby disappear while you are the only one in the house?" He struck her again and again until she passed out. When Amanda came back later, she pretended to be shocked after hearing from the gateman that Chioma's second baby was also missing. Elvis rushed Chioma to the hospital, where doctors told him her spine was badly damaged and one of her eyes was injured. She would have to use a wheelchair for months. Elvis broke down in tears, his world collapsing, his children gone, his wife half paralyzed. Amanda saw his weakness and took advantage. She started speaking ill of Chioma, calling her a careless mother and a witch. Slowly, Elvis began to believe her. When Mama heard the news, she rushed to the city and found her daughter in a wheelchair with a bandaged eye. Seeing her child like that, she broke down in tears. Chioma told her everything, how Elvis beat her, how she didn't understand what happened to the babies. Mama confronted Elvis, warning him never to raise his hand against her daughter again. But Elvis, cold and bitter, told Mama to leave his house. Meanwhile, Amanda enjoyed every bit of the chaos she had created. But fate was waiting. Days later, the police informed Elvis that Amanda was now their prime suspect. Elvis refused to believe it. He even defended her, saying she was the only person he could trust. He didn't know that Amanda was working for someone else, someone from his past. That person was Abigail, his ex-girlfriend. Years ago, when Elvis was poor, Abigail loved him deeply. But when she got pregnant, Elvis forced her to abort. The abortion destroyed her womb. She could never have children again. When Elvis became rich and married Chioma instead of her, Abigail vowed to take revenge. She planted Amanda in his home to make him suffer the way she did. But she didn't stop there. She wanted Elvis dead. Amanda poisoned Elvis's food one evening, not knowing he had already seen her through the mirror and recorded everything. When he confronted her in front of the police, Amanda broke down and confessed everything. How Abigail ordered her to steal the children and kill Elvis. The police trapped Abigail by making Amanda call her, pretending that Elvis was dead. Abigail rushed to the house, but the moment she arrived, police officers surrounded her. In tears, Abigail confessed. She said she never wanted to harm the children. She just wanted Elvis to feel the pain she carried all those years. She admitted that the twins were safe. She hadn't killed them. Elvis couldn't believe it. After all the pain, the beatings, the accusations, and the suffering he caused his wife, his children were alive. He went to Chioma, crying and begging for forgiveness. When she saw her twins again, she broke down in tears. Elvis apologized for everything, for the violence, for not believing her, for calling her a witch. Chioma forgave him, but her heart would never be the same.